as we can, but we've got to start achieving as a club. We can't expect our best players to just keep on playing for us through loyalty or whatever, because fundamentally football's not like that, and you can't expect players to keep producing for us when all we're going to do is fight against relegation or just finish mid-table. You know, the top players want to achieve, and when you've got Chelsea knocking on the door for apparently 50 million or 70 million, whatever it is, he's a Chelsea boy, he's going after the Chelsea fan, his best mate plays for him. It would be a no-brainer for him to want to go there, and I wouldn't blame him, to be completely honest with you, especially the way West Ham are at the moment with the dodgy owners we've got. I wouldn't sell him for anything under 100 million. I genuinely think he's worth 100 million. Don't care what anyone says. Anyone that watches him week in, week out will know how important he is to us and what a good player he is. He's an England international as well. So unless we get, an astronomical deal or whatever, then keep him. We've got no reason to sell. And as far as I know, he doesn't want to leave either right now anyway. So while we've got him, we need to keep him and keep him happy. Start achieving things as a club. And then him and other players will want to stay, and we'll get some good players in as well. So keep Declan Rice.
Keep or sell Declan Rice, and why? Obviously, my heart says keep him. He is undeniably probably our best midfielder at the club, and he's an England international, and he's a fan's favourite. Most importantly as well, he's young. So in an ideal world, he'll stay. Unfortunately, every player does have a price, and knowing our owners, if the right offer comes in, he'll go. I think what's important with Declan Rice is to analyse his attitude, which is right now spot on, fantastic, committed to the club, level-headed and focused. If that attitude at some point turns and you can see his head's been turned, obviously there's no way back. Look at Payet, look at Arnautovic. Once someone gets in his ear and he loses why he's at the club, you got to get rid of him. And I think and I pray and I hope that one way or the other we'll be able to keep him, because the club's going to be circling like vultures now for him. But if we can find some consistency going forward and we can get some decent finishes in the league, maybe we can entice him to want to stay. If he has that pull of perhaps playing in the Europa League in a couple of seasons time and pushing on and winning trophies, maybe like an FA Cup or something, then of course keep him, make him our club captain, make him a legend. Unfortunately though, every player has their price, but in an ideal world, I'd 100% keep Deckers.
Hi there, the question on everyone's lips at the moment, does Declan Rice go if the price is good enough? For me, I've always been a believer that the person, regardless of how good he is, has to want to play for West Ham. So Declan, if you want to play for West Ham, we'd love to have you, but for me it doesn't matter how much money is on the table. The person has to be wanting to play for West Ham. You look at Payet, you look at how good the player was, but just how badly the whole thing turned out. So Declan, I really hope you stay with us, but just carry on showing us that you do. For me, let's keep him if he wants to stay.
Everyone, it's Session Managed United. Just give my quick thoughts on, shall we keep Declan Rice or should we sell Declan Rice? It's a no-brainer, really. It really is. We have to keep him. We really do. We have to keep our best players and our most talented players, and Declan Rice is one of them. We can't let him go. We really can't. If we let him go, I know he's going to be valued at some big money, but we can't let him go. I'm sorry, man. If it's 50, 60, 70 mil, we can't sell him. We have to, in order to go forward as a club, we need to keep our best players. We can't be one of them selling clubs. We can't get rid of all our talent. And if we do get rid of the likes of Declan Rice, I tell you what, we will be screwed. Because if you look at the stats, really, from the season before the COVID-19 happened, he was one of the best defensive midfielders. Stats don't lie. We can see that he has the talent, he has the ability. You can see why many players many teams that are after him. But yeah, all I have to say that we can't get rid of him, honestly. But knowing our club, the way our club's run, I have no faith in us whatsoever. I just feel that as a club we are directionless. And to be honest, we've been saved. To be honest, because this season was an absolute shambles. But you know, like I said, hey ho, we need to keep Declan Rice. Yeah, whether we keep him or not, that's the $1 million question. Hopefully, our owners have some sort of common sense, but that's we all know they don't really have that. So yeah.
Should we keep or sell Declan Rice? That's actually a really heavily worded question in the current climate. Back in January, I would have been saying no, and even now, I'd still with my heart would say no, but my head would question the value of it. In a pandemic, when we don't know when the next, they already say next year the whole season will be played behind closed doors, and for money prospects, if they can get 80 million for him, and that could be 40 million to sort out the club's finances and 40 million to bring in 2 or 3 players, especially if we're looking at championship players now, you may have to sell him. I don't want to sell him. I hope they don't. I hope they keep him. I think you can build a core of a squad around him. I think he could be the captain. I think he could lead the club for the next 10 years. But if the club's finances are in the world of football, especially the world of football as a whole right now, the finance of football as a whole is as bad as it is, as bad as they're saying it's going to get, you may have to look at selling him. If you can get that much money, if it can secure finances, secure the long-term future of the club by selling one player, as big as that player may be, it may come down to them doing it. I don't think he will go this summer. I don't think any club's going to have that much money to spend, especially one player, but who knows? It's a really difficult question. My heart says keep him, my head says we may have to sell him.